Earlier today, we have engaged in a very constructive partnership dialogue with the federal government of Somalia. Together with my fellow EU ambassadors and EU family members from the CSDP missions, we exchange on how we, hand in hand with our Somali partners, can further enhance security, peace, stability, and prosperity. Prime Minister Hamza Barre, honorable ministers, excellencies, ambassadors, high-ranking officials, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and colleagues, and also my dear, colleagues from the delegation. Today, we celebrate Europe Day and the founding of the European Union 70 years on this day. The seeds of the European Union were planted. It started small with 6 founding European countries who took the first steps that would ultimately become today's European Union, following gradual expansion with what we are today, 27 EU member states that have decided to cooperate for the benefit of all, where collective security, economic independence, and rule of law are core elements. It was a brave decision, but necessary. After decades of wars and destruction on the European continent in the first decades of the 20th century, it was time to turn the page. Coming out of World War II and determined to prevent another one, European governments concluded that pooling coal and steel production would make war between historic rivals, France and Germany, not merely unthinkable, but materially impossible. World peace cannot be safeguarded without the making of creative efforts proportionate to the dangers which threaten it. These are the words by the French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman, who on 9 May 1950, and for us as Europeans, constitute a reminder that peace and security cannot be taken for granted, but needs to be fought for every day. No country can tackle global challenges alone. The EU is forging strong, fair partnerships from Africa to the Indo-Pacific to address various global challenges, such as climate change, digital transformation, or the shared need for strategic autonomy, as well as the growing pressures on democracy and human rights. We will do all this while defending a rules-based order that we helped build over the years, starting that day 70 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are also celebrating the long-term EU-Somalia partnership, which is multifaceted, covering political, security, development, and economic cooperation, and which is based on shared values, firmly in line with the UN Charter and multilateralism, which we can say is an endangered species. Earlier today, we have engaged in a very constructive partnership dialogue with the federal government of Somalia. Together with my fellow EU ambassadors and EU family members from the CSDP missions, we exchange on how we, hand in hand with our Somali partners, can further enhance security, peace, stability, and prosperity. We took stock of efforts in the sphere of rule of law and democratization, including current challenges and the urgent need to carve a way forward on elections, grounded on an inclusive political process. The words of Robert Schuman can be a source of inspiration for Somalis. It is time to look for determined efforts that can help bring long-term stability, prosperity, and peace for Somalia and its people, most of whom are young people with legitimate aspirations. On security cooperation, we have provided extensive support in the past 2 decades, both bilaterally to the Somali National Army and to the African Union mission, with the latest decision to allocate 75 million euros to AUSOM. This comes on top of the 2 EU missions, EU Training Mission and EU CAP, that have enhanced the capacity of the army and the police, while Operation Atalanta patrols the sea and fights piracy. Going forward, we are eager to see ever more autonomous Somali security forces and also a fairer burden sharing among all security partners. We also assess the efforts needed to attract more investment and promote the Somali private sector. And I'm happy to welcome here today many Somali entrepreneurs who are front runners. You're not scared. I'm also happy to announce that an EU-Somalia Business Forum is planned for early October here in Mogadishu, covering agriculture, energy, digitalization, and trade logistics. This is very much part of our global gateway strategy, offering an enabling environment for sustainable investment. Indeed, we believe that through private sector, this is what we should achieve in terms of job creation. As I said this morning, I believe that Somalia's future is bright, thanks to its talented youth, especially girls and women. I met many of them, and its vast resources at sea and at land. But to fulfill this potential, we need to keep Somalia stable and peaceful on a positive trajectory. While the international community can help, solutions are in the hands of all Somalis, men and women alike. Before concluding, allow me to thank my own team in the EU delegation, as well as the teams of the CSDP missions for all their hard work in making this celebration a success. Well done. You will enjoy later on all the effect of this celebration. So let me now close by really raising our virtual glasses to peace, prosperity, and friendship between the European Union and Somalia. And I very much welcome the Prime Minister if you would like to say a few words. Thank you.